So now we have completed our 6 program to practice a little bit our iterative programming abilities. Now we are going to use these newfound abilities to start solving project number 1. Before we do that, we have to speak briefly about for loops. We have seen how while loops allow us to iterate some parts of the code and that we can customize them as much as we want using composite conditions. We can search for things. We can also, if we want, repeat them a fixed number of times. But if what we want to do is repeating a fixed number of times, then probably we want to use a different type of loop, which is custom made, which is designed to repeat part of the code a fixed number of times, and that is called the for loop. The for loop does what is written in the package. For a certain number of iterations, iterate whatever you're doing. For example, here we have for I in a particular range, and you can read all about the range function here. Just print series of numbers, and in this case we are printing the numbers from 1 to 5 because the last element, from 0 to 4 in that case, and here we are printing from 0 to 6 because usually things start at 0 in Python if you don't say otherwise, and they always end at the number before the end of the range. Okay, have a look at this. We can make many types of different ranges, and for loops are very useful to repeat things a fixed number of times. In the next unit that we will see today, in unit 5, we have quite a lot of things about reading and writing from file. And again, please have a quiet, long look, listen to the video dedicated to this in the Jupyter notebook. So here is the unit, here is the unit, and here is the original video lesson for that. So please have a long look. But basically, this notebook allows you to read from files, open them in different modes, write, read, append, read all about them here, and to write to files. There is quite a lot of examples about reading and writing from the same file carefully. We, in this case, for this project, are going to need just the basics of this. And we are going to illustrate them with this example, putting it all together, air temperature in Zhao Mountain. This example is pretty similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty similar to some of the things that you have to do in project 1. And I'm going to use a part of it to just start processing what we need to do for task A, for the first task. Okay. Here we download the file. We will do just that, just exactly as in the project. We visualize it using pandas. We will use pandas, and we will use the Colab environment in a second. And what I wanted to have a look at, we use a for loop to iterate all the lines in the file. And let's stop here for a second. Here we use this with open name of files as f construction, which will be very useful for us. Usually when we open a file, we need to be careful to open and close it unless we use this particular construction. When we use this with open type of loop, then we don't have to worry about closing them. As soon as this with open thing ends, so the code is no longer indented as inside of it, but as at the same level, then the file will be automatically closed, which is convenient, so I don't have to remember to close it. If I don't remember to close a file that I do have to close, then errors might occur. In this case, those errors will not happen. And here I get a for loop. For loops are designed to iterate for a fixed number of iterations, either using a range function like we saw a second ago, or by going over all the elements in a data structure, in a container, or in something that can be iterated. That something that can be iterated in Python is called an iterable. Okay? Iterable is just something that can be iterated. Maybe it's a list of objects, so you can go over all the objects of the list. Maybe it's some class that I have designed, for those of you reading ahead. Maybe it's some data in some other format, or maybe it's, as in this case, the data coming from a file. In this case, I am opening my file with open as f, and this f is a file handle, a file stream, and this thing, a file stream, is a iterable. So then I can just do for line in f, and that effectively allows me to go over all the lines in my file. And here, for example, I'm printing them. And I'm going to reproduce this in a second with our file from our first programming project.